Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday, Sretan Petak. I am Sarah of Expat in Croatia, and this is 5 Question Friday. Every Friday at 5 o'clock Croatia time, answer 5 questions about Croatia from people who have sent them in on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, expatinCroatia.com, our consulting sessions, and people who communicate them through charades. So welcome! I'm so glad you're here. We've got 5 great questions for you today, but before we get to that, just a few things. Today is Statehood Day in Croatia. And this is, it's a state holiday, so everything is closed. Expat Croatia is closed, state offices are closed, a lot of stuff is closed today. And you're probably going to see a lot of Croatian flags up around wherever you are in the country today. Closed businesses will put a Croatian flag in their window, but also you'll just kind of see a lot of extra flags today. This is why. So the significance of this is on May 30th, 1990, the first democratically elected multi-party parliament was constituted in Croatia. So this came after a historic vote that happened earlier that month on May 19th, where 83% of Croatians came out to vote for Croatia's freedom to become a sovereign and independent state. And of those 83% of citizens who voted, which they've never had the same kind of turnout since then, 93.2% voted in favor of Croatia's independence. So that is the significance of Statehood Day. If you'd like to learn a bit more about the history of Statehood Day and also how it is celebrated, we do have a guide on expatinCroatia.com about that. You can go there to find it, or you can, of course, contact us or comment, and we will get that over to you. So there's that. Also, I want to share some really cool news with you. We have a new team member named Valentina. She is a copywriter. She has been with us for not quite a month, maybe 3 weeks. But we're so happy to have her here. And so, yeah, we're really excited to have a new team member. So now I think we are 11, and we also put out an offer to a 12th person recently, and we hope that we're pretty sure they're going to say yes. So yay, but that'll be a new face that will come later. So yeah, it's just a joy to do this job and to work with all the super cool people. So yeah, Valentina is super cool, and you're going to start seeing her name on a lot of articles on expatinCroatia.com, although she has already written some. So yeah, keep a lookout for her name. So what else? Next week, I'm going to go to Zagreb for a little quick business trip. I'm going to go to a lecture for the Brotherhood of Croatian Dragons. They do a lecture every Wednesday, usually at 7 p.m. It's open to the public. So they list their events on their website. You can always join those events if you would like, even if you are not a member. So I'm going to be doing that. And then also the Association of Croatian American Professionals is having a meetup next Thursday. So if you are a member of ACAP, I will be there. Hope to see you there. And yeah, I think that's it. So we can go ahead and get into the questions. What do you say? Oh, AW.Flack put my citizenship by descent application in last October. Just have to be patient now. Well, congratulations on getting that submitted. That is a big milestone in itself. And yes, now it's time for patience. So it hasn't even been a year yet, so you've still got, a little bit of time. But yeah, patience is a virtue, especially when it comes to the Croatian bureaucracy. So keeping my fingers crossed for you. And whenever you get your citizenship, please, please, please let us know. Oh, you're using one of our lawyers. Great. Hooray. Yay. That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Okay. So this first question comes from Howard in one of our consulting sessions. Does Croatia have renter's insurance? And this was a cool question to get because back in the day, when I first got to Croatia, I went and inquired about renter's insurance, and they're like, no, that's not a thing that exists here because it's the owner of the actual property who can get renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, but you couldn't get renter's insurance as a renter, but you can now. So that's great. So you can protect both the home as well as the belongings with that insurance. So it's particularly helpful in parts of Croatia that have been hit by earthquakes and floods in recent years. So standard policies include cover damage from fire, landslides, lightning, storms, hail, or falling objects. However, flood damage, theft, and vandalism are not included usually, or you have to pay extra to get them included. The yearly premium depends on the apartment's location and size, and whether you're insuring just the building structure or your personal belongings as well. So of course, they're going to customize a policy for you based on what it is that you want. So just to give you an example, protecting your belongings from earthquake damage in a 50 square meter apartment in Zagreb could cost between 100 and 150 euros per year. So it's not a huge amount, which is pretty cool. Jeff, you got your citizenship? Oh my God. Oh man, that's great news. Congratulations. Yay. Oh, yay. Wonderful. Oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm assuming that's what you meant. So really fantastic. Every time someone gets citizenship, it deserves a celebration. I'm going to pop back to the question now. So that's the answer. What do we have that we can send you? So we have, there's a site called compare.hr. It's compare with a K. And there you can compare travel insurance policy, renters insurance policies, but actually all insurance policies of all kinds. You can do that on Compare, and Compare offers a way for you to compare the prices for a variety of things, not just insurance. So it's a really good site to kind of have in your back pocket. And then also we've got links to the 5 biggest Croatia insurance companies that you can check out for renters insurance. So Croatia Osiguranje, Generali, Grawe, Uniqua, and Wiener. So we have all those links. So as we do on all of our episodes, if you ever want any of the links that are guides that I mention as part of each of these questions, the way that you get those is 1, you could go to expatinCroatia.com. 2, you can send us a DM if you are on Instagram. If you are on YouTube, you can find the link down in the description. Everybody else, just drop a comment on whichever platform you're watching this on, and we will get that to you. All right, next is Darren. This came through the 5-question Friday forum. Can we buy into the Croatian medical system prior to having residence? No, you cannot, because only residents of Croatia can sign up for the state health insurance here in Croatia. So to qualify, you need to have a Croatian ID with a Croatian address on it, whether that be a national ID because you're a citizen or because you have a dozvola boravak, like a residence permit, and it has a Croatian ID on it. Then you can sign up for the state health insurance. So a few guides we have, a guide to Croatia's basic state health insurance, what it includes, what it costs, all the scenarios on which you can sign up, how to sign up for the basic state health insurance, how Croatian and EU citizens can sign up for state health care because it's a little bit different for them. And not easier. I wouldn't say that actually. It's just different. It's different whether you're a third country national versus a Croatian or EU citizen. And then we also have a guide to Croatia's healthcare system in general. All right. So, also, I wanted to tell you why I'm indoors today. I was so excited to be outside because now it's so warm again. But today we have Bora again. I think it was 2 Fridays ago we had Bora. So for anybody who does not know what Bora is a cold northeastern wind. It's most common during winter time. It can get up to 200 kilometers an hour. It's actually, it's quite a strong wind. And what they say, there's a few things they say about Bora. 1, it's the good wind. Okay. 2, you cannot have prosciutto without Bora, or good prosciutto without Bora. That's what they say in Dalmatia. And then also that usually Bora happens when the sun is out, but you're freezing to death. Now, I would say that is only valid for winter Bora. When we have summer Bora, which is what we've had 2 weeks ago, what we're having today, it's a warm day, but there's definitely a strong northeast kind of cold wind that is gusting through everything. So if I was outside right now, it'd just be like, and that's not really conducive to this kind of Q&A session. So that's why I'm indoors today. But it is very nice because we are now getting into hot summer temperatures, and so this is kind of a bit of a welcome relief to have it, but I have to be indoors as a result. So, all right, our next question, this is an anonymous question that came through a consulting session. While my residence application is in process, can I exit Croatia and the Schengen zone to reset my Schengen time and get more days back? No, you cannot. So once you submit a residence application in Croatia, you are telling Croatia that you are living in Croatia. So because of that, you can't exit Croatia or exit Schengen to try and get more days back that you've already spent in the Schengen zone. It's not going to go down. It's only going to continue to count up every day that you are in Croatia or the Schengen zone until you have a residence permit in Croatia. And so your Schengen days are not going to reset until you have approval on your residence permit here in Croatia. So no, that is not possible to do it that way. We do have a guide on how to navigate Schengen rules in Croatia, and it does have an FAQ in there. I can't emphasize enough how important it is that you educate yourself on the Schengen zone and how those days are calculated, because we've seen a lot of people that have gotten into some situations that have resulted in fines or travel bans, and that's a bit of a pain. So yeah, make sure that if you don't understand how Schengen works, that you do inform yourself about that, okay? So next, I'm going to speak Croatian today. So our next question comes from Alan here on Instagram, and he asked, do you guys have a list of everyday common Croatian phrases? We do, actually. We do have a guide on everyday Croatian words and phrases to get you through life in Croatia, including a downloadable PDF that has a bunch of these phrases, so that way you can store it on your phone and have easy access to it. But before we get into that, because we have a few more language guides we can also send you, I asked the team this week, I said, okay, what are the most common phrases that you use on a daily basis? So I've got 10 plus a bonus, so 11 of them to share with you from our team, including the ones that I use the most. So, hi, Kathy, hi. So my go-to word that I probably use the most is može, which I would also consider that to be a phrase as well, because može means so many different things. It can be used for a variety of things. It can be like sure, or yes, or I agree, or give me some more. You can also use it to ask for something like može bijela kava, when you're ordering food, or drink. So it's so versatile and I love it. So I'll use može or moj, just for short. But yeah, I really highly recommend that that's something that you introduce in your vocabulary, because I feel like especially at the beginning, it's just such an all-purpose word/phrase that's really quite valuable. So next, this one comes from Lorena on our team. She's an account manager. She says, javi se za, excuse me, I'm going to start that over. Javi se za kavu. So basically like drop in for a coffee, So if she's saying to a friend, like, hey, just stop by, we'll have a coffee, is what she means by that. And then Maria, she said, nema veze. Nema veze is also something that I use quite frequently, so I'm super glad that she said that. Nema veze means it doesn't matter. And if you translate it directly, nema means it does not have, and veze is like connection or relationship. So it does not have a connection, it does not have a relationship, but really it means it doesn't matter. So another one that I use quite a lot is zašto ne, which means why not? I like that a lot. I feel like it's really kind of, especially down here in this part of the culture, it's something that I say often because it just feels like here it's about quality of life, enjoying your life, doing what feels right to you. So very often zašto ne has a really great place. Valentina, our newest team member, she said, niš mi se ne da. So that is actually, niš is just shortened for ništa. Ništa means nothing. So you could also say ništa mi se ne da. So that means I don't feel like doing anything, which is exactly how I feel about this weekend. Anybody else? Then we have Cam, Cam. Cam, she threw out something that is Kajkavian dialect. So she said kaj stvarno, which means like, what, really? And then me, this is something that I use every single Saturday when I go to the market, because they just love giving you those plastic bags like as much as humanly possible. And I don't use plastic bags. I use reusable like produce bags, and then I take like a cloth bag for all my groceries and stuff. I don't want any more plastic bags. There's just too many of them. So something that I always say is ne trebam vrećicu. You know, when I see them going for that plastic bag, I'm like, ne trebam vrećicu. So I don't need a bag. And then Valentina, she also said, riješit ćemo. So basically that means we will solve it. And that one I hadn't really thought about before, but one thing that I think helps learning Croatian is to kind of look at the root, because you have verbs and nouns and adjectives that you can see are all kind of based on the same root. And so this is a really good example. So a word that we use a lot in our line of business is the word rješenje. I always have to think about how I need to put the emphasis on that word whenever I say it. So rješenje, that means decision or solution. And whenever the government makes a decision, that's what it's called, is rješenje. So, riješit ćemo, we will solve it. Next is Lorena again, lako tako. So it's just like easy like that. And then takoje. Takoje, this is one I added to the list. I love it. I love it because it means that's right. Takoje, like so is if you literally translate it. And this one is fun for me because I just like how it sounds in my mouth. I don't know. Do you have any of those words or phrases that you just like saying? They just feel nice. Well, takoje is one of those ones for me. So I love whenever I get a chance to say it. And then the bonus one is from Lorena, which I think is a perfect way to start a Friday or end a Friday, start the weekend, especially a 3-day holiday weekend. Nema priše, which means no need to rush. So, which is, Lorena is in Dalmatia, just like me. So this one makes perfect sense. So down in Dalmatia, we say pomalo, like take it easy. So nema priše is just another way to kind of, is another way to communicate that, like no need to rush. Just like I don't need to rush through saying this, causing me to have hiccups, which is something that happens to me when I talk too fast. So those are a lot of really great phrases that you can also use. So I hope that you bookmark this. But also we have a few language guides that I would love to share with you, because I don't talk about these much on 5 Question Friday. I don't get many questions that necessitate me to share these with you. So like I said, we have everyday Croatian words and phrases that has a downloadable PDF. We have 10 ways to use the Croatian word može. All the ways to say hi and bye in Croatian, all the Croatian vocabulary you might need in a restaurant or a cafe bar, how to ask how someone is doing in Croatian, and that includes all the different like slang and dialects. And then we have a whole Croatian language section with tons of resources in there. So all of that. Last thing I would say, if you have not already signed up for our Tuesday newsletter, what are you waiting for? Because our Tuesday newsletter is awesome. We have more than 10,000 subscribers there now, and every week we have a Croatian word and phrase, and Maria, our editor-in-chief, she will record an audio so that you can see exactly how that word or phrase is pronounced. So if you want to sign up for that, you can go to expatinCroatia.com. It's pretty obvious, or you can go to the link in our profile and you'll also find a link there to sign up for the newsletter. So I'm so glad that Alan asked that question. So our last question for today comes from Grace and Matt on the 5 Question Friday forum. Hi, Grace and Matt. So I am 55. We are also wondering if we would have to pay off our mortgage by the time we turn 60. So most banks allow loans to be paid until the ages of 65 or 67. However, a loan that is only 5 or 10 years long would require a huge monthly loan payment and possibly a higher interest rate, which makes a lot of sense. Like, look, whenever you are getting a home loan, they want to make sure that you have the income to be able to pay it back. So if you are retired, your income is not going to increase. I mean, maybe you'll have some cost of living increases, but you're not going to get like giant raises. So they really want to see that you're going to pay a home loan off before you retire, which is why they have that age. Okay. So the 4 guides that we have is how to get a home loan and the banks that offer home loans to foreigners in Croatia. We called 15 different banks to see what their home loan policies were, because some banks will only consider Croatian citizens, some will consider Croatian and EU, and some will consider third country nationals, non-EU citizens like moi. But there are certain guidelines that you have to meet. So that is a really valuable guide. Also 10 things to know about getting a home loan in Croatia, and how credit works in Croatia, because credit works differently here than it probably does in the country where you live or where you've come from. And then also Croatia's biggest bank. So Croatia has 7 really large banks, and we have detailed kind of everything about the bank, like a little bit of history, kind of you can find a map of all their ATMs, because I think it's really important whenever you decide on a bank here in Croatia that you pick one that is local to you, that has a really good network around you. Like, for example, I use Erste. I really like Erste. That's the one I always recommend to our audience and our clients. They're most concentrated up in the Rijeka-Kvarner area in Istria. They do have a presence down in Dalmatia, which is why I'm comfortable using them, but there are other parts of the country where they might be more scarce. So you want to make sure that you pick a bank that, one, has the services that you want, and also that has really convenient branches and ATMs. So that's really important too. And we include kind of their services and their fees and everything, so you can really kind of look at a glance to compare all of the different banks in Croatia. So those are all of our questions today. I think we ran through that pretty quick. All right, average, 25 minutes. What else do I have to tell you? So I'm going to Zagreb next week. Next week is the first Friday of the month. So Cam is going to be hosting 5 Question Friday next Friday. And then the week after that, I'll be hosting 5 Question Friday from London, because I'm going to London for a long weekend. So stay tuned for that. And that's it, guys. So thank you so much for being here. Really enjoyed these questions today. We had some good diversity, good topics to talk about. If you're just joining us, yes, I agree, Crayon Go. They were really good questions today. I always love that. So if you have a burning question, send us a DM, drop us a comment. We would love to answer it on a future episode of 5 Question Friday. So thank you so much for being here again, and I'll see you in 2 weeks, and next week you will see Cam. So have a wonderful, sunny, warm weekend, and see you soon. Ciao, vidimo se, bye!